first interviewee is Michael Safaya. So Michael, you have a background, I think you're a tech guy, and you've been at Pivotal, you've been at Trade Hill, and now you have Lazerbee?
That's right.
Lazerbee, okay. So how did you make that journey into Bitcoin?
So I joined Pivotal after my first startup, which was a Facebook app around education and social interaction. And Pivotal is an amazing place to sort of learn to be a master of the programming trade.
Right.
It's a fantastic environment, really good at building teamwork and trying to replace ego with confidence and all these really important things for a programmer. And I wound up really enjoying the work, but really wanting to do something that would make a change in the world. I felt like I wanted to do things that were a little bit more topical and more about what drove me. So I decided to move on to doing projects that were smaller and were a little riskier. Pivotal didn't trudge through quite as risky.
Right.
And I wound up at Trade Hill because a friend of mine, Ryan Singer, was one of the co-founders.
Okay.
And he asked me to join the team. And I joined as a consultant first and did a bunch of architecture consulting and came out to New York and talked to a bunch of partners out here. And I came back and joined as the chief information officer when they needed really a larger engineering team and needed engineering leadership. So I joined to build the engineering team. I hired some engineers, helped put together an engineering culture, really start the ball rolling in terms of being able to consistently produce software in the Bitcoin space. And that was a really awesome experience.
That was when you got into Bitcoin. Now you moved to Lazerbee.
Yes.
Lazerbee, if I'm saying it correctly. And so my obvious question is, if Bitcoin's a virtual currency, why are you making physical products?
Well, I mean, it's a physical world.
Okay.
And we're all physical people.
Okay.
And
now, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just intrigued that you're producing physical Bitcoin.
Well, I think that it's very important. I think people understand what they can hold. So, I mean, you can talk about Bitcoin, but so this is
okay. I haven't seen one of these yet. Okay.
This is one of our wallets. It's a happy birthday wallet, and you can give it to someone for that person.
Can we pass it around?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
We have some extra wallets for.
Can you not steal the private key, please?
Please don't open it, because then we can't use it. So, if you have a friend who's having a birthday, and you want that person to be part of the Bitcoin community, if you want to give that person Bitcoin, the normal way to do it is basically giving that person a homework assignment. You say, what I need you to do is get your phone, download this app, and then you have to spell the name. And then, okay, now you've got the app. Okay, now you walk them through the 10-minute process of setting up a Bitcoin account, because without a public key, you can't receive Bitcoin. So what this does is allow the giver to generate the public key and load Bitcoin onto it, and then hand it over and say, here is your Bitcoin, this is yours, you have it now. And if you want to read about how it works or how you can spend it, then do that on whenever you want. There's no urgency, there's no homework assignment, you just have some Bitcoin. And I think a lot of the people in the community for a long time lost sight of the nature of teaching people things, the nature of gifts and transactions and learning. And I think that physical products carry a lot more weight in a lot of environments, including the social environment. And that in the context, especially of a gift, which is right now is our focus, that a gift that you can hold in your hands is a more powerful and meaningful thing than, let me scan your QR code.
I was watching a Matt Miller's story on WeWork. Okay, I don't know if any of you has anyone seen the video? Okay, you have. Okay, well, basically, is it Matt Miller?
Yes.
He had one of these wallets.
He had several.
Okay, and his Bitcoin's got stolen.
The Bitcoin that he gave to his co-anchor, one of his co-anchors, he handed out the wallets as Christmas gifts to his colleagues. one of the anchors decided to open the wallet right then and there, and to sort of get the experience on camera, and didn't really understand what Bitcoin was. Matt didn't tell him, don't open this. And so he opened it up to see what was inside, as though he was opening a present. But of course, the inside of the wallet is the secret key that lets you spend the money. So, yeah, who has the wallet now?
Someone stole it. Someone stole the wallet.
Yeah, I'll show you. I can open it up for you, and then we'll have someone who's watching this can steal the 0 Bitcoin off this wallet. It'll be really.
You should have put like a centicoin on there or something like that. You should put $5.
Yeah, right. I mean, I would, but a little bit late now. So this is our wallet, and on the back you see there's these stickers, these tamper evidence stickers, and then so the anchor was really, this is really cool, and so he opens it up, and there's the private key. And he's like, wow, look at that, and he shows it to the camera and see, isn't that cool? And of course, anybody who sees that,
okay, can we see this?
Anybody who sees the private key, right, it's happening right now, can transfer any Bitcoin that's on that wallet to another wallet. That's the point of the private key. And so it was a really interesting lesson in Bitcoin security. Don't open your gift wallet on camera.
Has anyone in the audience had any other kind of physical Bitcoin? Has anyone, you get physical coins with a little strip of paper and that kind of thing?
Actually, I got one of those at class yesterday. And they're handing it out. Yeah. Take a look at that.
So what is that? Another one?
Yeah, same box.
Same thing, but that one,
You
the
made
private
this.
key is there.
Oh, the private key's here.
Just printed on the card. There's no security. There's no flap. It's just it's a more of a lightweight teaching tool. There's not really a secure thing. Has anyone seen a Casacious coin? Yeah, anyone have a Casacious coin on them?
Oh, can we see it? Oh, no.
Not on it.
Someone has one? Can we see it?
That's a bearer bar.
What is that? Block of gold?
No.
No. It used to have a private
This
key.
used to have 100 Bitcoins on it.
Okay.
It doesn't anymore.
It doesn't anymore. It's empty. It's gold plated. It's a fun display thing. But
Okay.
So people have made these things as sort of very serious objects designed to sort of feel like they have a lot of value, which I think everyone really appreciated, and they became quite valuable. And our plan is to sort of do the same thing in a much more mass market way, try to bring some quality to the experience, try to make it not too expensive, and try to make it nice but mass marketable.
Can I just ask what that, what do you call that gold bar thing? The gold bar?
It was called a Casacious bearer bar.
Casacious bearer bar?
Yeah.
Casacious bearer
It's
bar?
the brand.
Caldwell, the guy in Utah, made, I think it was 59,000 Bitcoins for the coins. Mike Caldwell is a guy in Utah who decided he was going to make some Bitcoins. And so he started printing these, and they have, I put our sticker on it, but underneath the sticker there's a spot right here where they put a small version of the QR code with a tamper-evident hologram over it.
Okay.
And on the front it would display the short version of the public key. So you could use the Block Explorer to see how many Bitcoins were actually on the physical coin at the time. They made, the smallest denomination they made was 0.1 Bitcoins. The largest denomination they made was 1,000 Bitcoins.
Wow, okay. Okay, Michael, let me ask you a different question. What do you think would make, what do you think is going to make, do you think Bitcoin's going to go mainstream, or what do you think would make it go mainstream?
Well, I think that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
Mainstream means average people. It means people who don't understand what public key encryption is.
Right.
Right. It means people who don't think about the rails that finance runs on.
Okay.
And so I think what makes it go mainstream is sort of better user experience writ large. The user experience for Bitcoin as a whole, I think, is quite bad.
Right.
It's a very cool technology. It's awesome. It's transformative. It's amazing. But the user experience for it is quite bad.
Fine.
And this is us, and that's our founding principle of the company, is let's try to improve the user experience of Bitcoin. What can we make that will in some small way improve the user experience of Bitcoin, and hopefully get to the point where you don't need to understand concepts that drive the system in order to effectively use the
It
system.
becomes like cash or whatever.
Right, it becomes intuitive. So I think this is a little more intuitive than a phone app is.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? And I think we still need to iterate, go a little further on it. There's other things to be done. There's a long way to go before it can be mainstream. But I think it's largely about having the system itself be comprehensible to people.
So are you? What are you going to? Are you moving on from wallets? Are there going to be other products? What are you
I think there will be other products.
Are you going to tell us what they are? Or are they secret?
They're not so much secret as we're talking about them. We're keeping our eyes open for what's possible.
Okay.
And what's interesting. Wallets are our immediate focus for I think quite some time. But we're talking about what else can we make. We're interested in what people would want in terms of physical products related to cryptocurrency.
Cool. Okay. One final question, then we'll go out to the audience. Where do you think Bitcoin's going to be in 3 years' time? Maybe we'll put that one out to the audience.
Yeah, that's a very hard question. You could go anywhere. I think it could be very widely used in 3 years' time. It could also be significantly less used in 3 years' time if another virtual currency for some reason is adopted. I think there's still on the global scale very few people using Bitcoin. It's the very beginning of I think it's a really interesting race.
I think that's true, but every major government's addressing it,
Yes.
which tells me it's kind of got serious.
I think it has gotten serious.
When the Fed and the UK government or regulators have to deal with it, that means it's now kind of above the radar. So
I think it'll be significantly more regulated, significantly less wild,
okay.
and I think it's hard to predict. I think it's going to be extremely interesting, whatever it is.
Okay. Can we? Does anyone want to come in now? Do you want to pass the mic around? Do you want to ask Mike a question?
So, Mike, I actually love your product because I tried to give 9 of my family members Bitcoin this Christmas, and one of them even said, "What is this? Just give me money," because I didn't have something like that to hand him.
We clearly failed in our marketing efforts.
No, not at all. It's just that we're all in the same boat. We're trying to get out there. Question for you, though, is that you create that wallet for me, right?
Yeah.
So I think as we're going along the time, people are going to say, well, you know my private key, right?
People have said that to me, but I think this ties back into what I was saying about user experience, about what normal people, for lack of a better word, are like. Average people in this country, people expect financial institutions to be trustworthy.
Right.
They expect, people are not, I think the average person is not going to suspect that we are going to steal their money, that what we are in the business of doing is keeping people's private keys. I think the suspicion that we might is, I think, probably quite concentrated in the sophisticated Bitcoin thinker, in the person who thinks about the security of the system. We're a legitimate company. We're not going to steal people's private keys. And I think as we grow, as the market grows, that's just going to become sort of part of the reputation of the company. And I think it's going to be, simpler than you might expect.
So I've thought about this because I saw your product a while ago. And I don't know if you've ever seen Piper Wallet.
Yes.
So Piper Wallet will create an offline wallet for you.
Right.
But if you took what you have there and you were able to put it into a computer, so that I say I want a Valentine's Day gift for my wife,
right,
and it's already in there, and I can create the key, the wallet, using your system, Valentine's Day, 4th of July, whatever you would have in there, that's a product that I would pay for off the shelf pretty much immediately. And that's something that I could sell to my father-in-law who doesn't have a clue about technology. But if you tell him, Dad, look, this thing, if you hit the button, you create a gift, right? He'll be like, all right, I know how to do that. I don't know how to get on the computer, but I know how to do that. So, just an idea.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We take
I'd say 20%.
Only 20.
Only 20.
Only 20. Josh.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. So this wallet, does this now become the wallet of the recipient? Is that their Bitcoin wallet now?
So a person can have as many Bitcoin wallets as he or she wants.
I guess, and I'm fairly new to this, and so my question, I guess, comes from a fairly new user, somebody who might receive this, who's heard of it, and doesn't exactly know what to do with it. But it seems like you are lowering that barrier to entry for somebody who wants to get into the Bitcoin community. For instance, you're now making it easier for whatever else you're talking about, keeping your eyes open about other technologies and other products that could be used. But now you have a hold with the person who receives that. For instance, I spent an hour, last week or so, setting up a blockchain.info wallet. So now if blockchain.info comes out with some other thing, of course I'm going to use that over somebody else's because I'm already invested with them. I already know what my passwords are and everything like that. And,
Sure.
so it seems like if you set this up, and especially if you could market that towards somebody to say, this is your new wallet. And also this company has a lot of other innovative ideas. And I think it's pretty interesting as a fairly new user that you're lowering that barrier to entry and then allowing someone to really expand their Bitcoin experience.
And that's definitely the guiding principle, is to lower the barrier to entry, improve the user experience, make this something that someone who's not a cryptographer can, get her head around and really use. And these things, you can take one of these to a local Bitcoins or whatever, or a Satoshi Square meetup, and you don't need to have a mobile phone with an app on it. You could buy Bitcoin from somebody with cash, have the person put it on the thing, and you've got it. So you can use this, you can load it as many times as you want. We recommend that if you unload it, you take all the Bitcoin off, because now that it's been opened, it's really hard to tell if someone opens it again and scans the key and can steal your Bitcoin. So, but yeah, until you open it, it's very secure, and you can load it as many times as you want.
It's a piggyback.
Right, it's a
Smash it
piggyback.
once.
Exactly,
Smash it
smash it once. So you can take it, if you want to get into Bitcoin but you don't want to deal with the software, you can just buy one of these and start accumulating Bitcoin. And we had a really cool experience, Jake and I, when we just started making these. We went to a frozen yogurt shop. One of the nights after we sold our first couple wallets, we were excited, we were happy. And we had a couple of these new wallets on us, and we were talking to the guy about what we had just done. He was like, oh, that's cool. And I said to him, well, how about we pay for our frozen yogurt in Bitcoin? And he said, okay. So I pulled out one of these wallets, I put, $10 of Bitcoin on it, and I handed it to him. And it was really a wonderful thing, because I didn't have to tell him, go download an app. I didn't have to explain to him the cryptographic thing. I was just like, this is money, here, take it, right? And he took it, and to a certain extent, he had to trust me, but to a certain extent, people trust each other. Mm-hmm. I think that's less, like I was saying, I think that's less of a problem than it's sometimes thought to be.
It'll be interesting to see where the market goes, because like this gentleman was talking about, there's those hardcore libertarian types that are only using the offline wallets who absolutely view this as a way to get government and financial institutions out of the mix. But you're almost talking about becoming a variation of a financial institution that does keep track of these things, but we promise not to do anything with it. So when it actually takes hold in the market, and you do find greater market saturation, it'll be interesting to see if it goes towards the libertarian side or it goes more towards the trust you side.
Just to be clear, we definitely do not keep the private keys. We don't keep the private keys. We have no interest in having the private keys. It's a huge risk for us. We're never going to use them for anything, and it would be a disaster if they were compromised. So we just absolutely don't keep them. And we work, when I wrote the software, I was very careful about making sure that there was no way that they could be stored. So we definitely don't have them. But the trust comes in when people have to believe that we don't have them.
Right.
As far as the other thing, we do know who we sold each wallet to. So theoretically, we could track based on the public keys. If something nefarious were to happen with the one particular public key that had come from us, we could say, well, we sold it to this person. And I think that's no different from any other retailer in the world.
I wonder if, as he was talking about government start getting into the regulation business, if a company like yours will be more attractive because you do have at least that one small level of capability to track and see where these things go, as opposed to it being completely anonymous.
Sure. I think as you go you can't go mass market with this product. If you're going mass market, you're going with the culture, right? And the government also goes with the culture. So you're not going to be going mass market and straight up against the government at the same time, because if mass market wants you, then the government's not that against you. So I think we are going to, that we're a simple company. We're not a financial company. We don't move money. We don't deal with money. We make gift cards. We're at Hallmark. We're not, rebels.
I like it. I'm excited to see where it goes.
That's funny. One more question. I think Jesse.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear from a business perspective, Lazerbee's kind of marketing in terms of getting initial users. Like, how do you sell him to get one for his, for his father-in-law? What's the value prop you're selling now? It's like, get everyone one of these wallets so you can have Bitcoin. So what?
Well, I think
For the mainstream.
for the mainstream, and for the mainstream is really the key piece. For a Bitcoin hobbyist, I think they're not what a Bitcoin hobbyist is dreaming of. What they bring, if you're a Bitcoin hobbyist, the answer is, well, they're nice. They're this nice quality plastic. They're printed well. We cut them cleanly. They're a nice looking product. For you to invest the time and effort to make one of these yourself, significant amount of time. Now, if you're a craft person who really want to make a handmade wallet, that's awesome. But our product is just like Hallmark, right? Hallmark doesn't sell software that lets you print cards at home, because that's not what people want to do. People want a really nice card stock, maybe like a nice little, stamped cut cover. They want it to be, a beautiful, well-made experience that they can hand to somebody. And that's really the pitch there. And people, a lot of my friends are pretty deep in the Bitcoin community, and they are busy doing their Bitcoin projects, and they don't want to spend their time printing and folding and packaging wallets for their friends. When they want to get Bitcoin, they buy some wallets from me because that's what I make. And they don't want to spend 10 hours of their own time on it. They want to spend 10 minutes of their own time on it and give their gifts and move on. So that's really the value prop is if you don't want to do this as a hobby, if this isn't something you want to do for fun, then we have the right answer for you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to call it there. Michael, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.